Greetings, everybody. My name is Andrea. I'm the clinic director at Tri-State Bird Rescue and Research. We are a nonprofit wildlife hospital located in Newark, Delaware. And as the clinic, all we see is native wild birds, but the oil spill department, which is that lovely building behind us, will also do mammals and reptiles, amphibians. I've washed many of snakes and crayfish and toads, so we do a little bit more than just birds when it comes to an oil spill. I'm going to take you for a quick walk to our flight cage, but in the time being, I'm just going to explain a little bit of what I do. So as the clinic director, I have to make sure that we follow federal and state regulations. So in order to be a wildlife rehabilitation center, aka a wildlife hospital, is we have to follow certain regulations and have both state and federal permits. So for example, if you find a Britto Hawk or a robin, a blue jay, any of the above, in your own backyard and it's injured, you can't take it to a veterinarian or a vet hospital. It has to go to a wildlife rehabilitation center. It has to be a licensed wildlife rehabilitation center. And we do work with veterinarians, but we also have wildlife rehabilitation clinic supervisors is what we call them here, or rehabilitators. We're kind of like nurse practitioners, if you will. We can diagnose, we can prescribe medication, and we do it all under the veterinarian's license and supervisions and protocols. So a lot of the things that we see here are human-related impacts. I would probably say close to 80 to 90% of the animals that we have here are because of some type of indirect or direct result of human beings. We see 180 different species, which is really cool. So anything from a pelagic bird like a northern gannet to your eagles and hummingbirds and red-tailed hawks, flycatchers, all the fun stuff. We get to see them all. I will say that the main offender is an American robin. That's the one we see the most of. Now, I am going to be walking into a flight cage. So prior to walking in, I don't want to make a lot of noise once I'm in there. So I'm going to kind of tell you a little bit about the story before we even get in there. This red-tailed hawk is a pretty interesting case. We believe he might be the result of another bird fighting it. So he came to us. He was very neurologic, and he was ataxic, what we call it. So he wasn't able to stand upright. He was very wobbly. And what we found was a puncture that went into what we think is potentially his skull. So this bird has been with us for a while. It's been with us for about 37 days. And he'll be with us for another month because we need to make sure that this bird is going to be able to fly properly. And hunt and mate and do all the things that a wild bird is supposed to do. So with wildlife rehabilitation, if we can't put a bird back out into the wild and it's not a candidate to place at a zoo or an aquarium, we do humanely euthanize. We do that, one, because it's our permits. We have to. But secondly, it's what's best for the animal. Most birds do not make good placement options. They're not meant to be in a cage for the rest of their life. A lot of these birds are adults. They have lived their life out in the wild, breeding, having babies, hunting, evading prey, whatever it is. And they don't really do well confined into a cage. So we do have to take a lot of that into consideration. So this guy still has a long way to go. We think in at least another month. And then once he's been with us for a month, we have to make sure he can actually capture food. So that's going to be a whole nother part of his rehabilitation journey is actually catching live food. Okay, so I'm going to go into this cage and hopefully you'll be able to see him. Can't promise anything. I'm not going to get too close because we don't want to upset the bird. Again, these are all wild birds and they're not used to people. So you'll be able to see this guy in the left-hand corner. He's high up on that perch. So this is one of our red-tailed hawks. He's a patient. He's in wildlife rehabilitation at the wildlife hospital. And he's got quite the journey to go through. Let me see if I can actually... Nope, it won't let me turn this around. And I'm not IT savvy. So this guy here, you might be able to see, has a kind of a head tilt. It's tilted to one side. he's just what we call ataxic. He's not 100% yet, so he's going to have to be with us for a while. He even kind of flies a little wonky. Now, Britto Hawks, I think most raptors kind of get a bad reputation with the general public. A lot of people think that, their pets are in danger if they have a small pet or cat outdoors. These guys really aren't going to be predating on your cats or your dogs. Bunny rabbits, squirrels, and other birds are kind of their food item of choice. This guy in particular really likes the birds. So we have pre-ordered quail that we feed and ship to him. That is kind of his delicacy. At Tri-State, we kind of give them a smorgasbord, if you will. Smorgasbord, say that fast. To see what their preference is, because they all kind of have a different preference. Some of them might be feasting on rodents. Some are feasting on ducks or other birds, pigeons, rabbits, you name it. So we want to see what they like and then try to feed them as natural as possible. The less we can handle them, the better, obviously. So I just wanted to give you kind of a patient in the day at Tri-State and see some of the things that we're dealing with. A little bit of our campus. Again, we do deal with 180 different species, so we have to make sure that we have caging that is going to fit for everybody. Everything from the bald eagle to the hummingbird to a pelagic bird, so we have some nice deep pools as well. Thanks for joining me. I hope you guys enjoy your lectures and have a fantastic day. And don't forget to be stewards to wildlife and help protect us so that we can coexist with them and both us and the wildlife can flourish. Have a great day.